everybody. I'm back. I'm sorry y'all didn't get your email. Pam took her a nap this afternoon, and I sent the email and didn't know she had taken a nap. So we couldn't get our facts together there for a little bit. She was asleep, and so was I. Let me know if y'all can see me and hear me, okay? Let's see who all's in here. Teresa Oren, Nancy Fisher, Katia, Robin, Diane, Mary Ann. Wow. Got some good ones in here. Pam should be getting the emails out. We're going to give it a little bit. Let me check my messages. Hi, Janella. So far, Janella has the top bid on the new book. And we have a winner for the, hey, Zen, we have a winner for the gift card on the Helix Tatting Challenge. Say that 3 times in a row and see if you get tongue-tied. I did on the first time. Y'all have to bear with me. My head feels like a hot air balloon. If I stick a pin in my face right here, I think I'll pop. My sinuses are killing me. I'm in pine country. I'm allergic to pine. Are y'all ready for the next phase of this pattern? Pam, did you get those emails out? I told him you fell asleep, and so did I. Hey, my supper was good. I gotta admit, when I get a full belly and my supper's good, I get tired. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. Nancy, I want to thank you for your donation today. I do appreciate it. Well, then that's fine. That's fine. You can catch up. We're just rewriting the pattern and working it out as we go. By the way, I got my sample done in a different color, and it's continuous thread method. And I also got my little notes in my book. We're going to go over all that tonight. Y'all, I think I need a haircut. I really do. But I'm trying to let it grow out some. That way I can put it up in a pony. Get it off my neck. I don't like my hair on my neck. But I don't like it short. Hi, Mavis. Hi, Julie. Well, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, no haircuts in winter. I used to. This ain't no joke. My hair, I could sit on it when we first moved to Kentucky to take care of Mom. in the winter months, I'd take it and wrap it around my throat because I have really thick hair. Anybody that knows me, that has been around me, knows that I got this super thick hair. I don't know where it comes from. Nobody else in my family has thick hair, but I got everybody's hair. Okay. And so needless to say, I, let it grow out. I could sit on it. I kept it up in a pony, pulled back something, but it was never bothersome. The only time it bothered me is when I was asleep. I'd roll over and about hang myself with my hair. But in the winter months, anybody that knows anything about up north living, well, Kentucky, it was cold. Lived in Georgia, okay, where we wear shorts at Christmas. We go to meet family for Christmas. We wore shorts. So needless to say, I'd take my hair and I'd use it like you'd wear a scarf. And it's kept my neck warm, and then all I had to do is flip it back and didn't have to keep up with no scarf. And I like that. And Mom taught me into getting it cut. Well, I had 13 inches cut off my hair, and it still was halfway down my back. And Mom kept saying, oh, I don't like it long. I don't like it long. And if anybody that ever met my mom, you don't tell her no. You just don't, because she will hound you to death. She's like a hound dog until you do what she wants. Hey, Carol. So, yeah. Needless to say, that's how bad it was. So I cut it off. I went to a Jenny McCarthy haircut, and she really liked that. Then she got tired of that, so she wanted me to do something else. By the time she got through with me, I was like bald. So now that she's gone, I can grow it back out because I don't like short hair. I like long hair. I can do more with long hair than I can short hair. That ain't no joke. I'm putting it in the bun and back, be an old woman for real. I'm teasing with y'all. Age is just a number. That's what I've been told. My body is not convinced of that. We're starting to dribble them in. We may not have as big a class tonight as we had this morning. But yeah, I can get it right off my neck. But living in the rig, last time I went to a beauty shop that I didn't know the people, okay, I went in and my hair was about to here. And I said, I need it shaped up. This is right before COVID. The type of work dentist does. Hi, Pasha. He knew we was being shut down. And I said, I want to go get my hair cut before we're shut down. Because I know after we're shut down, I'm not going to get it cut. And I want it to look nice, at least for a little while. And so we went to this beauty shop. Hey, Pam. And I didn't know these people. I couldn't get in to see my regular beautician. She was booked solid. So we went to this walk-in place. Well, I wish I hadn't walked in because when I came out, my hair wasn't that long all over. I mean, we were talking finger short. She had turned me away from the mirror and she pulled out a razor. And before I could say anything, she come up the back. And I had a man's haircut. We left there and Dennis says, what wig shop do you want to go to? I was furious. Absolutely furious. Well, then when we shut down for lockdown, I didn't need no wigs because I wasn't going nowhere. So, needless to say, that's why my hair is like it is now. I'm leery of anybody I do not know touching my hair. So, last time I cut it short, I cut it myself. And I just sit there with the scissors and just inched it off, But I don't trust anybody with a pair of scissors near me. I went to one beauty shop one time and they cut my ear. She just whacked me with the scissors on the ear and I'm bleeding all over the place. So yeah, I've had quite the experience with beauty shops. But the lady I went to in Kentucky, I mean, I could go to sleep and know that she was going to cut my hair the right way. Yeah, exactly, Zen. Exactly. You get a bad haircut, it takes forever to get it straight. And I just told Dennis, I said, all I'm going to do is just let it grow. I know it's going to irritate me, but I got baseball caps, so, and I got little floppy hats, and you name it, I got hats. Hi, Carol. Haven't seen you in a while. Hi, Sue. Told you they're all just dribbling in. Everybody anxious about this hat? Now, I got a question approached to me earlier this evening, and they want to know how we're going to stiffen the brim. Well, I will give you a hint. Arlene Metter already knows the answer, and the way we stiffen it is with wire, and you shape the wire, okay? And you shape it in this, like if you want it to do this, you know, the ruffle all the way around, then you use this wire and you shape it. And it's 18 gauge craft wire is basically what you use, okay? Once you stiffen this, okay, it'll hold. Hi, Mijo. Hi, Karen. But when you do that, if the wire isn't coated, it will tarnish, and it will tarnish your threads. So we'll go into that when it's time, okay? Yes, Mavis, you can use Stiffy, but in high humidity areas, it doesn't really work. The best resource for stiffening is they do make a stiffener product that you can actually sew the hat to, the brim, and it will hold it up. And you can get it at the fabric store, of all places, shop. And it's a shaping type foam, okay? You can also use interfacing on it. So there's a whole lot of ways you can stiffen this hat, but the pattern calls for a blank hat to be underneath of it, like a felt type hat. I like the floppy hat deal, and then stiffen the brim. And you can stiffen with starch too. Don't forget, you can use starch on it. And I don't care, that heavy duty starch that I think it's Faultless that puts it out. I got news for you. You could starch a pair of jeans, they'll stand up in the corner. They ain't going nowhere. So that's, one of the ideas you could do. But I like my hat floppy. Okay. That way I feel like a free spirit. Just saying. Y'all think I'm crazy. I know you do. I don't blame you. I am. Hi, Jilly. Balmy, Colorado. What part of Colorado? Sue, the design teacher, she lives out there. And I want to say she lives out close to Denver, but I know I'm wrong. I cannot remember. She's told me a blue million and one times what part of Colorado she lives in. MP. That's how you write it in, Marianne. It's MP. Greeley. That's it. Thank you, Mary. See, I knew one of y'all would know. That's why I got y'all as students. Y'all keep me on the right track. Well, I bet you Sue doesn't know how many neighbors she's got. You're welcome. All right, now, it's a beautiful 20 degrees. It is, well, it's got me in Florida again. It ain't that warm. It's like 30 something here. It's dropping. We've had to turn the heat on. All right. So what we're going to do is go into the down shot so y'all can see my goodies I got over here, and we can show you what we're doing. All right. So let me switch this over. And there we go. Can y'all see that? That's the pattern. See the pattern? That's the pattern. Now, this here, they have it that this is a felt hat shape that's under it. Now, back in the day, they did, you know, they would buy felt hats and they would decorate them. Well, when we get through with our hat, we're going to decorate. We're going to make some 3D flowers, and we're going to put a little band on this, and all this is going to be tatted, okay? And we're going to mix tatting with other craft items, okay? And we're going to make it all pretty. It's going to be pretty. All right? So I just thought I'd give you a heads up. Like I said, we're moving it forward. Now, the reason for this is there's a group of us that get together in Florida. And we have what we call our tea luncheons. Okay? And we're having high tea like they do over in the UK. And we have to wear our tea hats. So we all make our own tea hats. Okay? Last time I went and I was at the tea, I didn't have a tea hat. And Anita brought some. Well, Anita had a hat on that looked like the hats from Derby. And being from Kentucky, I have been to the Kentucky Derby. And I got news for you. The hats are beautiful. They are a piece of art by themselves. And that's what we can do with this. Okay? So we'll get into that. We just got to make the hat first. Okay? So let's get on into that. Now, I told you I had tatted it up, right? In a solid color, continuous thread method. We don't have that mess of the ends. Okay? But this is what you should have. And as you can see, we have 6 spokes to our wheel, just like the pattern calls for. It has 6 spokes to our wheel. The difference is that, let me get something to point at it. Right here, they had you to cut and tie according to the pattern. And when we cut and tie, it gives us that little hinky spot that, you know, it's just, we want something a little more special. So we did a mock picot right there off that ring. And this is our mock picot right here. Let me turn it over right there. And I measured this picot to fit with the others. Now, once we go do the next round, all these picots are going to sort of kind of squish up together. And that's what we want. Okay? So let's move on to what notes we've taken in. Now, I went in here and I wrote these notes. Now, this is my hen scratch. That's what I call it, my hen scratch. This is not the finished pattern. This is what I'm doing, and I'm making notes. You see here, like it's continuous thread method. Okay, that means there's no break, no ends to tie in. Then we have ring 1. That's our first ring. And it's 2 picot, 2 picot, and so on. We get down here, we reverse our work. We close our ring. And we put in the mock picot. We are ready to start round 2, which is with chain 1. Now, when I get ready to write up this pattern, we'll do it in a more formal way. Okay, it will look like a real pattern. And then we're going to have a diagram to go with it. And that's where Sue's going to help us, because Sue can show us how to use Inkscape to do diagrams then. Okay? And then we can get this thing diagrammed out. I'm sure Teresa can help me find somebody that will diagram it out for us. And then we have a finished vintage pattern in the language of today. So now let's start with our chain 1. Now, according to the instructions here, all right, we've got our ring done. Okay, we've done all that. We tied, we cut our threads, you know, just like they said. No, we did a mock picot and did all that cutting and tying. As Georgia would say, egads, don't cut and tie. All right, so the next one is fasten to the second or ball thread in the first picot. What they mean by that is the second shuttle or our ball thread to the first picot to make a chain of 8 double knots, which is 8 double stitches. Okay, there's no picots in that so far. And then it says join to the next picot, repeat around, joining last chain where the first chain started. Well, when we do this, we need to put in a little tiny picot between those chains. One that all you can see is a space to put your hook in to pull your thread through where the join goes. That's all you need is enough space for your joins on your next round. Okay, because the first round we're going to join in each one of these picots. Our next round we're going to have a little tiny picot up here on these chains in order to join our next round too. You see? So we have to think ahead. And if you're pattern designing or pattern rewriting, you need to always think ahead. 2 steps ahead, you're safe. 3 steps ahead, you're really moving on. Get 4 steps, you're going to mess up. Okay? Don't overshoot what you can do. But always think ahead. What can I do ahead that will save me time? Make this look more professional, more finished. At the end of each chain section, you must have a small picot. That is correct, Mijo. All right, so now we're going to wrap our hand. We're going to do our first 8 double stitches. And you're going to see this picot come in. Let me zoom in just a little. Watch it. I'm going to jiggle the camera. Okay, move things over. There we go. Now, we're going to put in our first double stitch. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, we've got our 8 double stitches. Now we are going to join to this picot. Well, you know what's going to happen when we join to that picot? We're going to do a lock join because the shuttle is the closest thread. Shuttle 1 is the closest thread to that picot. So automatically it is going to be a lock join. And that's what you want for your onion rings. You want it to lock so that they don't shift or give. Now, wrap that on our fingers so that we can go knuckles to nails. Okay. And we're going to tighten it down. Pull it. You have to play with your lock joins because if you don't, they will not set right. Okay. Then you're going to put in that very tiny picot. And you're not even going to notice that picot. Okay, just see. Watch, watch. Do you see that picot? You can't. It's very, very small. All right. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to loosen up our thread. Get it worked around our fingers and put in our other 4. That'd be 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to join our very next picot. Pull our chain tight to get a curve in it and join at this next picot. And as you can see, it's going to be a little loosey-goosey on this. So in our finished product, when we retat this in the finished piece, then we can say, all right, we're going to need a smaller picot. What size picot are we going to need? Because you can see how it's loosey-goosey. That's okay, Kathleen. You can catch up. So you see how it's loosey-goosey on these joins? So in reality, even though it is showing spokes in the wheel, okay, this thread is a size 50. This thread is a size 10. So if we make our spokes in a size 10 look like the spokes on the size 50, guess what's going to happen? We're going to get loosey-gooseys. So the bigger the thread, because it takes up so much space, you have to compensate by adjusting your joins, joining picots, and your stitch counts. But because this is a pattern rewrite, we have to stick with the stitch counts. But the picots can be decreased in size to take up this excess slack we're going to have. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense to everybody. Do you have any questions about this? I mean, it's fairly simple. What we're going to do is finish this round, and then we're going to start the next one so I can show you how this join and everything works. Okay? By the way, while we're taking a little small break here, Phyllis, you are the winner of the gift card for the Helix Tatting Challenge. Everybody give Phyllis a congratulations. You should be getting something tomorrow, Phyllis, from Handy Hands. So you can go buy you some threads, some shuttles, whatever. You're welcome, Phyllis. You're welcome. Okay. Kathleen, you never thought about what? About the difference in thread size? Hi, Barbara. Okay. Let me see. So Phyllis was, Phyllis, who was I talking to? Kathleen, was it the thread size that got you? I bet I know what Phyllis is going to get. And she's going to get more threads so that she can do some more hand dyeing. She makes some of the prettiest hand dyed threads, folks. I'm telling you, they're beautiful. All right, you're not seeing it. You see how this is loosey-goosey where these picots are right here? See how it's loose? And as we go further, it's going to get looser. Is that a word? I don't know, but I just made it a word, okay? We need to come in on the final product. We need, if we're using a size 10, if you're using a size 3, this is going to be a migraine, okay? But the size 10 threads, you see how loose it is. We don't have a firm curvature to our onion rings like the diagram that the picture here. The reason being is because they're using size 50 thread. We are using size 10. We are like 6 sizes larger than the thread that's used in here. Now you can go with size 40 thread and come really close. So you would use the larger picots for your spokes. But by using the size 10 thread, because it's a bulkier thread, a heavier thread, our picots need to really be smaller so that they don't give off that loosey-goosey effect. Okay? Hi, Brenda. So does that make sense? Anytime you go from one thread size to another, you need to adjust stitch count and picots, one or the other. Right, Julie, you are so right. The picots are too big because the curvature isn't as pronounced. And because we're using the larger thread, that happens. But I could have told you that and made the smaller picots. Okay? But would you have heard me? Probably not. Because it doesn't sink in unless you see it. That is why visual learners have a hard time learning tatting from a book. And most of you are visual learners. Okay? Or you wouldn't be here. You'd be in a book. And if I show you what it looks like, you understand what it will be like. Okay? So if you did this pattern in the size 50 thread, yeah, you could put a picot in with the picot gauge that wide. Okay, number 7. You could do that and get by with it without a problem. Okay, but you wouldn't believe me if I told you because you didn't see it and it would not stick with you. It would not sink in. Nothing against anybody here. That's just a fact of learning. Okay, and that's why visual learners need to see what it needs to look like. Okay, so if we cut these picots down to what I originally had, they would be the perfect length. And the original picots is a 5. And that is a size and a half smaller than this one, the 7. Now, if you're using wooden picots from Veronica or measured picots from Handy Hands, you know, they're Handy Hands picot gauge. Yeah, you could be spot on every time with them. But the clovers, they jump a size and a half. The clover looks like a hairpin. You know, you pull your hair back. You know, a lot of people call them cat combs, stuff like that. Knit combs. If you're using them, you name off how many rings that you do or rungs you would have to do to get the right sized picot. But this will show you when you change your thread size, make your adjustments accordingly so you get a finished product that looks good to your eyes. Now, there are some people that like the loosey-goosey effect. Now, when you go to block this, you can make it look nice. Don't think you can't. You can. You have to work with it, but you can do it. So whatever your outcome is, you can make it better just by blocking it. So let's go on and let's walk this around. Now, all of these chains are 8, join, 8, join, okay? Now, we're putting that one in, and if you will look right here, there's enough of space for my crochet hook for my next join to come in on the next round, okay? And you want to do that all the way around. And this is 3, 4, 5, lost it, and 6, 7, and 8. Now, we're going to do our shuttle lock join on our next picot. You see, it's back here. And that's going to happen. We're going to creep up on ourselves, and it's going to get looser and looser as we go around. But that's okay. What we're learning here is how to adjust. Okay? Knuckles to nails. Pull that through to lock it in. Tighten it down and lock. Go on with our next 8. Pull it down. Make sure we leave enough just to join. We got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Tighten our chain, pop it in. So you can see we're getting ahead of ourselves, right? We got to work it back around. Bring our thread, and we're going in here to catch that. Okay, pull it up, Hook it on our finger. That is something I started a long time ago. Ain't nothing I hate worse than a picot join that gets twisted. And then you got to back it out and fight with it and everything else. I don't like fighting with anything. If I have to fight with it, I just say not do it. I don't have patience with fighting with thread. I don't. So now our last one. We're going to pull that over, get our picot in there, and finish our last 8. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we got this last picot we're joining to right here, and then we join here for the last chain. Okay, there is a difference. Here we're joining to the picot. The next one we're joining to the picot, but we're also joining to that chain with the mock picot. So get that in there, lock down, pull it down. And you can see she's a loosey-goosey. Okay. Let's put in our last one. We've got our picot in there. We go 2 right here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, now we're going to join. This is our mock picot. We're going to grab our mock picot down here and pull it up. We're going to join. Same lock join. It's just in that mock picot. And if you don't have that mock picot in correct, it will stretch it out. So that's why you got to make sure you do that lock stitch on that picot. Now, this will show you real quick what this is going to look like with those larger picots. You see it's bowing up. It's because it's got too much in there. Okay. So we needed those picots to be smaller because you can look at it and see how it's wonky. And that's okay. Now remember, this is cotton thread. When you wet this cotton thread and you steam block it, it's going to draw up, but it won't draw up enough to hide the wonky. Okay, so when we come back in and we do the final product, then guess what? We draw those picots in. So that's where we say, okay, we make our little note. That's not going to work with those number 7 picots. So we want to bring it down to number, if we're going to use these, we want to bring it down to number 5, maybe even a number 3. Okay, we could do either or. Okay, so we want mock picot, make a little arrow on our notes like this and say small picots. That's why I say this is our chicken scratch, because we're going to make all little notes all over it as we go along to correct as we go. All right, so now we've got that one in. What is the next thing we got to do? We've got to put our next chain in. And where we're going to join our next chain is right here. Okay? And it's supposed to lay right on top of this chain here. Now that chain just looks like it's got too many stitches, but it doesn't. It's the same as any other chain. So we do the same thing. We leave our small little picot in there for our next round. And how many stitches does it say? It says 12 double stitches. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, put 6 more in. Hi, Jeremy. Thank you, Katia. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now, because there's 12 stitches, we want to double check our count and make sure we got the 12. Hold on just a minute. Small arm. Okay, now we want to make sure we got our 12 stitches in before we put it in, because we're putting a lock joint in, remember? So let's count them off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We got 12 stitches. So we're going to go in here, right there, between the two. We're going to grab that shuttle thread from shuttle 1 and pull it through. Of course, it didn't grab. Come on, Murphy. Murphy's living with me today. Oh, I didn't tell y'all about my phantom water leak. 3 days ago, we had a water leak, a bad one. Mia could have been doing the backstroke in the bathroom. You would assume it came from the commode. No. You would assume it came from the shower. No. You would assume it came from the sink. No. We cleaned up the water, hunted high and low for it, and guess what? Couldn't find it. So 3 days ago, that was the last water leak till this morning. We got up, we went to the bathroom, got our coffee going, and got back, and there was water in the bathroom floor. Where it came from, I have no idea. Okay, there it is. And that right there is the way this second chain will sit on top of every one of these chains. And that gives the impression of a onion ring. So everybody got that? Hi, Barb. I didn't even see you come in. Glad you can make it. You did the first round as it was written in the pattern, Mary? Awesome. Everybody got it. Everybody got it. Yay. Hi, Barb. So, what I want you to do, okay, for homework, you are going to complete this onion ring. Okay? This part right here. I want you to do a mock picot on this last round of onion rings, okay, to bring it out to your chains. Don't forget your other picots. There's 2 per chain on these onion rings, okay? So don't forget those. But remember, when you get to this point and you get all these done, when you come in with these picots, depending on what thread size you're using will depend on what size picot you're going to make. Do I make a small picot at the start of the second chain round to connect to? Yes, Phyllis, you do. You like my way better, Mary? Yeah, the single picot on each, or the single double stitch on each side of the picot made no sense. Okay? Back in the day, they had to do that because they were working with tying a knot. They didn't have the goodies we have today for techniques. Now, for you, let me get back to the other camera. For you students that do needle tatting, if you have questions, please ask them in the group. Send an email to class. We have Pam and we have Katia and we have many other needle tatters in the group. Gloria Nelson is a member of our group as well, and she's a needle tatter. And they can answer those questions. I can only take you so far. I know the basics. Thank you, Barb. And that's it. You know, they're the experts. I don't claim to be a needle expert. All right, the split chain here will be on your last round of your onion rings. Okay, and when you come off this last picot on the last round of your onion rings, you're going to have from here over is going to be your split chain. Then you're going to have the mock picot come out here to your next chain. When winding the shuttles, do you need more thread on the ball shuttle or the working shuttle? Now, I can't answer that because I've not ever done this pattern. I can't tell you how much thread it's going to take to do this pattern. I can tell you what they say in size 50, it took 5 balls, isn't it? Yeah, 5 balls of size 50 thread. And I'm thinking back in then, the ball sizes was like 50 grams. I am not for sure. I will demo that for you. Demo what? Yeah, I'll demo it next class. Okay, but I want you all to at least get your onion rings in. And if you can't get this split chain in, remember you can cut and tie. Just remember, you got ends to hide when you do that. Avoid it at all costs, especially when it's a lot, when you're dealing with a chain heavy pattern. Avoid those ends. They're hard to hide because you don't have a ring in here to go into. Now, if it's a ring and chain pattern, easier to hide the ends because you can hide one in the ring and one in the chain and they won't pop out. Awesome. Thank you so much, Katia. Thank you. I believe there is a video for the split chain on needle. I am not sure. I've got so many videos now, I can't tell you what's on what. I've surpassed 200 videos in total. But of course, I've got 6 channels too. This is just the class channel. Thanks, Pam. I couldn't remember. What'd you got distracted by? Yeah, for the start, we'll be doing more chains, Katia. But the thing of it is, if you look at the pattern, we're going to pop in here to a row of rings. I'm thinking those are rings with bare thread space. There's no chains to them. So, yeah, that ought to be fun. That round of rings with no chains. But we're the authors of the new pattern for this hat. Remember that. We are the authors. So we can make small chains instead of bare thread space. Because I don't know about you guys, but wearing a hat with bare thread space, no, that ain't happening because you're going to break that thread. Putting the hat on and taking the hat off. That's going to give. You need those knots in there to give it support. And if you're a tat tightly, then the hat may not need blocking. Thank you, Fred. Yeah, I say we're going to put, you know, even if it's 2 stitches per chain, we're going to get some stitches on that bare thread space. It's safer that way. Yeah, I agree, Marianne. There are patterns that, you know, I moved and it didn't feel good. There are patterns that have bare thread space in them. Beautiful. Okay, let's get real. They're beautiful. But if it's an everyday use type of item, I am not putting no bare thread space in there because it's just not going to work. It will wear out. And that's why you see all the fuzzies on the antique laces, the vintage laces you buy at the thrift stores and stuff. You'll see little fuzzies, and it's where the thread has broke and they just tied a knot in it. Or back in the day when they joined, they tied knots. They didn't join like we do now. Yes, exactly. Yes, 8 stitches for the original round, and then it climbs out to 12 on the next round. Now, the next one is, let's see, 4 and 5. They're the same as the third row, which is 12 double stitches, but you're going to add 2 more double stitches. That's where the wording gets you. It's 12 double knots fastened between scallops of last row. Okay? And then that's your third row. The 4th and 5th is the same as that third row, but you're going to add 2 double knots to each scallop on each row thereafter. So what you're doing is 4 is going to be 14 double knots. 5 is going to be 16 double knots or double stitches. Pick your choice. Exactly, Katia. You're 100% right there. So I say when we run across the bare thread space for safety, because you're putting a lot of time and effort into this, tat up a couple of double stitches. Give that thread some structure. Okay? So at least get your onion ring done by next class. Just the onion ring. Okay? If you want to move on out to your chains, go ahead. Just remember the last chain, the last picot, is where you're going to break that chain and make it a split chain. Okay? Awesome, Katia. Now, I want to see everybody's little notes and stuff in the class Facebook group. You don't have to turn your homework in. Just show me some of your notes and some of your thoughts as you're working through these next few rows. Okay? Exactly, Karen. Bare thread equals a weak spot in the pattern. You wash it, say you wash it 5 times. That thread's already starting to fray. How many years you see you're going to get out of it? Not much. And when I spend that much time making something, I better get some use out of it. That's all I got to say. I'm going to get use out of it. So are there any questions at all? Awesome. Well, if you don't wash it at all, when you have an allergy to dust, you can't use it then either. You're welcome, Mary. Yeah, that's what's going on here. We've been going through, the rig goes into the shop March 4th. We have to have it in the factory at 6 a.m. on March 4th, weather permitting. Okay. We'll be out of the rig for at least 2 weeks. It may be longer, depending on what all they find when they pull the slide outs off. We had what they call frame flex on the rig. And when the frame flexed, it broke the welds on the frame. They fixed that, but they found that it shifted the two opposing slides. So every time we take them out or bring them in, I say a little prayer and say, please let it come back in, because pushing them back in is not something I look forward to doing. And so this trip where we're at now, we will be here until time to take the rig to Indiana to get the slide outs replaced. Once it goes in, we will be motel, cabin, whatever we can get to, and we'll be staying there. We won't have equipment or nothing like that with us for video classes or anything. I'll have my computer. That will be it. So this is a project you all can work on while I'm getting the rig fixed, because once I come back from getting the rig fixed, guess what? Class is back on. I would not use any chemicals that has any kind of a perfume to it on tatting thread. That's my opinion. The reason is tatting thread is very delicate. So when you're spraying, yeah, I'll be homeless. That's okay. I can go to a motel. It'll be just like home. I got my dog. I'm fine. Dennis tags along. But yeah, fabric sprays that resist dirts and stains, I'd be afraid of with tatting thread. So just think about the work before you do things to it like that. So, but if y'all need anything while I'm away from classes, you can write me. I'll answer you. Not a problem. I don't have any problem with that at all. The only thing is that this has to be done. This is warranty work, and they got to fix it this go around, or I got to pay for it after this. And that is the only thing that is wrong with this rig, is the slide outs. In fact, the dining room side slide out, the floor has separated from the wall. So that one, we just sort of kind of baby it in. And we're supposed to pull the slides in and out once a month. And they told us at factory, don't do that, because if it gets stuck in the out position, we ain't getting it back in without an RV tech. And their rates start at $2.50 an hour. Thank you, Katia, for that. You're right, Mijo. You're right. It is what it is, but I would not trade this life for anything else. I have a freedom now that I never had before. I am not bound to homeowners association. You got to keep your bushes 1 inch from the house. I mean, some of them things, they're just crazy. Hi, Harola. Yep, you're going to have to watch the replay. The pattern should be in your email, or you can get it off of the class site or the website. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. And where we're at, I love it here because everybody here is retired and it's quiet. There's no pool, there's no tennis courts, nothing like that. And when you want to shut down, this is the perfect place. You don't have a lot of racket and stuff going on, and I like it. And plus, the people that run the place are really nice. We call them family. They feel like family. Oh, Mavis, you're welcome. All right. Any questions before we close out for today? I'm going to go bundle up. It's starting to get chilly. No, I don't live in a community. I live in an RV and we travel. And a lot of people say, you know, we're vagabonds and stuff. We're nomads. And we travel from place to place and see different things and do different things. So, yeah. We bought the rig for that. Oh, you're welcome, Marianne. You're very welcome. By the way, guys, give it a thumbs up. Watch those commercials, okay? Watch those commercials so that we can earn some money on it. Leave comments. All that goes towards our algorithm. All right. You have to be careful with tatting too, because sometimes bugs like to eat the starch and sprayed stuff. Yep, you're right, Barb. Yeah, in fact, we have a sign on the back of the rig that says, "Home is where we roam." And my husband has a YouTube channel if y'all are interested in going to see the video of what the rig looks like inside and out. Our YouTube channel is Journeys Unwritten. Go check them out. Yeah, my dog's under my feet right now. Yeah, bearded dragon. I have a friend that owns a rig like ours, and they have a bearded dragon. And when we go to rally, I get to babysit him. His name is Scout. It's fun. So, until then, till next Tuesday, I want every one of you to enjoy yourself. Tasneem, oh my goodness, I was hoping you could make it to class. You're a little late. Exactly. Don't forget, Sue's design class is Thursday. Y'all visit her. Tasneem, I'm going to be sending you an email here in a couple of days. Okay. You just saw my message? Okay. All right. I'm going to be sending you an email here in a couple of days. Okay. So just be looking for it. Okay. Oh, you're welcome, Carol. I want all of you to make beautiful lace with your threads. Have fun, guys. Until next Tuesday, happy tatting, everybody. I'll see you next Tuesday. Make sure you visit Sue on Thursday, all right? Have a great weekend. Bye-bye, everybody.